Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Justice Matters, a Gen X Media production. I'm Larry.
Michael.
And here we go. Tonight's topic.
Free trade versus fair trade. Yeah.
We're going to try to do this short and be very direct about it, so we have installed a timer. Here we go.
Oh, wow.
And you are on,
I'm
sir.
On the chess clock. Yeah.
You are on the chess clock.
The biggest thing, this is January 24th, 2018.
Yes, it is.
A couple days ago, Donald Trump signed a proclamation which basically under several United States laws and treaties, that's important, World Trade Organization treaties, imposed a selective tariff on solar panels. This isn't a solar panel discussion. It could be widgets. Yeah, that's what they're always with the widgets.
Yeah,
the biggest issue is people are saying that you're against whatever is actually being produced, in this case solar panels, or that tariffs are bad. The problem that I've seen is a total lack of literacy on this, ironically from a lot of libertarian and really conservative sources that have an ideological view of economics.
What is our favorite problem that we're coming up against? Dogma.
Yeah.
This is a dogmatic reaction.
And, just for those, I want to go through a few basics. The way economics works is people have voluntarily acquired resources and goods. I have resources. I apply different resources and skills together, maybe work with some other people to actually create something, and then I trade it to someone else. They give me something in return. That's the way trade works. When we get money, then money is like a medium of exchange to where you can use money to buy whatever goods. So
right, or any other, like they talk about. You can use seashells, you can use opium like they did back in the day in their dealings with China, or whatever else you got. There's a medium of exchange.
Yeah, and then that's supposed to represent something more. This isn't a monetary discussion at all. The whole point is that the way things develop over time is that the more trade that you have, voluntary trade between people, the better, right?
Yes.
If you put up a tariff, which is a tax on everything you get from someone else, that may generate revenue, but it isn't necessarily good because it forces the price up, right?
Right.
A lot of times it's bad because it distorts what one person's producing and doesn't. If one person's producing widgets that you need to put in your engine and the price goes up, then, well, you have to increase the price of your engine, and people in your country may be producing widgets that are actually more expensive all the way around. So there's a problem with this. It really happened during the Civil War, where you had a tariff, which they called the Tariff of Abominations, or the Abominable Tariff.
Right.
And
I'd have to look it up again.
Yeah, it basically had a tax on imports and exports abroad, which meant that the South, when they were selling cotton, it was more expensive for people to buy it, which meant they didn't get as much money for the cotton. The tariff went to the government, not the producer. So if I had a bale of cotton that cost $10 and had a $5 per bale tariff, all of a sudden the person's buying it for $15. The person can't buy as much cotton with the same amount of money.
Right. It's an inflationary force, and it slows your production and your market efficiency way down.
And then in order to get stuff like tools from there, it was more expensive for the South to buy tools from Europe. And so their price went up there, so they had to buy them from the North. Now the North was getting double dipping, right? Problem was that the tariff was supposed to pay for the government and for building of roads, which only happened in the North.
Right.
So that was one of the biggest issues related to the Civil War, is the South was providing most of the revenue. People were buying less exports that they were exporting. It was costing them more to do imports, which meant they had to buy them from the North, and the North On top of all that, the North got almost all the tax revenue that was being put in because they were more populous.
Right.
So that's just one example of bad tariffs. That's different. That's a protective tariff, right? Whenever you're trying to protect one industry. That's different than a retaliatory.
I'm gonna switch it over here in a minute.
That's different than a retaliatory tariff, which is in order to make sure that there's no impediments to trade. So if,
and this is the real crux of the problem and what's gone on with this, Mike. The companies act in the company's best interest. Certain foreign governments act in their own best interest, and they are not playing fair.
Right.
There's been nothing fair about the solar panel thing. There's subsidy, and there's cheap overseas labor, and there's substandard product. And from my view and my looking at this tariff is going, okay, well, your price is here, your product's here. We're going to put it up here anyway and let the market compete.
I haven't looked at the annex to the proclamation, but just from what I've heard, you're not making solar panels import of solar panels more expensive. You're basically saying one country just can't dump them, and that country's basically China.
Yep.
Which is basically doing the currency manipulation. And what the annex to the proclamation actually does is says any industrialized country under the WTO that's in good standing. Well, Trump has already registered China as a currency manipulator.
Right.
Which means they're basically the ones that are affected. So you're basically, they say two negatives don't make a positive, is basically someone who doesn't know math when multiplying two negatives does make a positive.
Yeah.
Right? Just like, you can't add two negatives, but you can multiply two negatives.
You very much can.
So the thing is everyone that's critical of tariffs in general, I've always asked this one question. I haven't gotten one person to answer the question. They like to criticize tariffs, but they can't tell me how they get rid of another country's tariffs and unfair trade deals.
No,
subsidies are bad. Subsidies are bad. Tariffs are bad. Restricting, imports and not opening markets is bad. Well, how do you make someone stop that?
You equalize the price the best way you can until they stop that.
Right.
And that's what this is.
Exactly.
That's all this is. And people have gone into this typical knee-jerk reaction. Oh, he did something. No, so what? So what? They're cheating. People across the board on this topic, they are cheating. So it's like your favorite McDonald's case with the coffee. They just took the profit away from them to level things back out and disincentivize their bullshit, basically.
Right. So,
and that's all this is. And everybody's
a lot of people, and there's a difference between free trade and fair trade. Mm-hmm. Free trade, everyone wants. But doing whatever the hell you want, despite it's cheating and subsidizing stuff, not acting on an equal playing field, that's not fair trade. We don't want free trade, we want fair trade. Second of all, free markets can be good or bad, depending on what people in the free market are doing. If they're raping, killing, and stealing stuff under a civil pretense from other people, that's bad.
Right.
That's different than capitalism. Capitalism is the imposition of moral restraints and
the deferral of gratification.
Right. Onto actual transactions. Yes. And what it does is in free markets, when people are doing whatever they want, they can steal, rape, and murder as long as they can get away with it, to do stuff to other people. But once you use the government to make sure that people can't kill other people can't rob other people, or people can't lie in order to give them something on a bargain that they
or preferential treatment. Yes.
Or preferential treatment.
Yeah. Anyway,
people are forced to voluntarily trade with each other.
Since we are wrapping up, we have 45 seconds. Make your final comments, Michael.
Fair trade is making sure that people aren't cheating. The only way you can do that is with impositions like tariffs. Otherwise, you're not really stopping tariffs. You're just complaining about the latest one.
Yeah, you really are. And like I said, it boils down to, if we would stop subsidizing one company over another or one country over another, and allow things to unfold. There are some great ideas out there that nobody wants. They need to be allowed to fail. It's just like the typewriter repairman argument today. Do we need to preserve that job? I don't think so.
Well, it's the serenity prayer too.
Yes, it really is.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is our 10 minutes. Hopefully we have it all fairly well focused, and thank you for listening. I'm Larry, this is Mike, and
So long.
signing off. Thank you for watching.